He's such a pain.
Whatever.
Hi, we're back, the Goodins. We wanted to talk a little bit about some things that we experienced before our relationship, in the beginning of our relationship, and how we kind of evolved and moved through situations with maintaining our own identity in our relationship, because that's super important. When you're in a relationship, you want to make sure that you're still you, right? Because sometimes you could get consumed with what somebody else wants you to be, what their expectation of you is, and all of that good stuff. So it's super important to make sure that you are continuing to stay true to yourself, especially foundationally. Like, there's things that I think you're supposed to change when you're in a relationship, or you're supposed to grow through, because you do have to compromise and make sure that you're cohesive, right? In some ways, if that's the person that you choose to spend your life with, like, you want to make sure that you're doing things to make the relationship work. And if that means changing and growing through some of the things that doesn't serve you or the relationship, changing and working through that, but also maintaining who you are. Because I think that, I feel like I'm rambling, but I feel like before, I was 22 when you and I got together. So I was very young. I still didn't know exactly what it is that I wanted. And I hear people say all the time, like, oh, you don't, or women don't know what they want, or men don't know what they want. And I think that instead of us frowning upon that, like, we have to look at people for where they are, right? Like, where are you right now in life? You can't possibly know what you want at 21 and 22. I feel like I couldn't make life decisions. I had a kid when I was 21, but like, that's a big decision that I didn't really know. Like, it wasn't like a planned thing. So like, even with relationships, when we got in a relationship, I like poetry because we met through poetry, but like, other things that you were into, I wasn't necessarily like 100% in it.
Like,
but
coming in the house at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Oh no, not that.
That's the things you got to compromise.
Yeah, those are things that for you, right? Those are things that you had to compromise on. But for me, like, making sure that I don't consume myself so much with what you're into that I have no idea no idea what I want or what I'm into. Yeah. So how do you think that you were able to, or do you think that at all? Because you were older than me. When we got together, obviously still older than me, but you were older than me. So how did you feel about who you were as a man and what you wanted? Do you think that those things changed? How did you remain true to yourself while working through that compromise?
There's just certain things about myself foundationally that I found to be a part of my structure. So, I'm kind of stubborn to those things. To a degree, I can be worked off that square, but it just has to make sense. So I think that, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I think we can kind of identify what we want, but it develops as you mature and grow through time. Like, we just had this conversation, last night, when I was saying one of my favorite shows was Saved by the Bell. One of my favorite episodes on that show was Wedding in Las Vegas, and the whole chase that they showed through that with Zach chasing down Kelly was like, wow, that's like, no matter what he did, no matter what was going on, he wanted to be with her. Like, he always said he was going to marry her. So those are the kind of things that he just started manifesting in his thought process at a young age, and it developed as he got older. So you can't really like pinpoint exactly what you want, and you can't really plan it out. That's just not how life works. We was watching that episode on Harlem when Megan Good, her character, had her whole life planned out. I'm gonna get married at this time. I'm gonna have a house at this time. I'm gonna have this kind of job at this time. It's great to say those things, but the undeciding factor is how life moves. You can speak about those things, but you just might not necessarily be ready. So I think, just to get back to your question though, to identify and answer what it is that you, how do you be true to yourself without giving up so much of yourself to be in a relationship, is certain things that you speak about in the beginning. Like, okay, these are the things that I want. These are the things that I like to do. And you kind of stick to those things. And, if you're talking about those things in the beginning, like we had an episode before where I said I got 3 of my favorite questions. What kind of music do you like? What kind of books do you like to read? What kind of movies do you like? Because these are all things that influence who you are and what maintain that sustainability to being true to yourself. So if you sticking to your guns and those are the things that you like to do, I think that, is less to compromise on because you come into the relationship knowing those things.
But what if you don't know those things? Like, I feel like I wasn't 100% sure on what I liked, like what I love to do. I mean, at that age, I was, like I said, I was 22 years old. At that age, I hadn't traveled a lot. I haven't dated a lot. Like, I didn't do a whole lot of things that people do in their early 20s, so I didn't know specifically like what were the things that I enjoyed. And now I feel like I have a better idea, or I really know what I enjoy. But at that point I didn't, and I found myself being like really into the things that you were into, and then I had a moment where I was like, I don't like that. Like, I don't necessarily like doing those specific things, and then like having to say no. But like, I feel like there are things that we connect on. Like, there's like, we both like to read, we both like to have discussions, we both like poetry, like we both like travel. Like, there's things that we do like, but there's also things where I'm like, no, I want to do this and I don't want to do that, and that's okay. Like, so coming to that point where you're strong in what you like and what you don't like, and what you're gonna do and what you're not gonna do, and like accepting people for where they are and who they are. And if it's not something that's like a deal breaker, right? Like obviously if it's not things that are like gonna ruin your relationship, then that's fine. Like, staying true to who you are and what you like so.
So I guess you could say, what's some things, all right, I could think of something right now. She doesn't necessarily like us not, doesn't like the idea of not waking up to me. Because every so often, like, I'll be in here and I'll be watching like basketball stuff. I'll watch a bunch of replays or highlights of what's going on, and it's just something that I like to do. I grew up sleeping on the couch half my life. I wasn't even the type to sleep in the bedroom, but she would prefer we go to sleep together. We just on two different sleep schedules, but absolutely prefer that we wake up together. So I guess you could say that every once in a while, compromise is like, all right, I know we probably won't go to sleep together, but as long as we're waking up together more often than not, that's okay. Yeah, so that's something, I mean, a small thing, but
I would definitely prefer that you were in the bed with me when I wake up in the morning, but I know that you like to watch basketball, or sometimes you watch battle rap, and sometimes I watch battle rap with you, but sometimes like in the nighttime, I don't want to watch basketball highlights, and I don't like to hear it either. Like, I don't like to hear, like, if let's say you want me to sleep on the couch with you one night, I don't want to sleep on the couch. I hate sleeping on the couch. I never do it. That's the one thing that I don't compromise on.
She just slept on the couch the other night.
Why did I sleep on the couch though? Because I was doing laundry. That's why. Yeah, that was literally and I was.
But you do sleep on the couch every once in a while though.
Not often.
Not often. I'm not saying you do it often, but every once in a while.
If I fall asleep, maybe I might fall asleep on the couch, but I definitely don't sleep. Like, I don't choose to sleep on the couch.
Yeah, I'm not saying you do it intentionally, but
I might fall asleep, but I'll definitely get up and go in the bedroom. Yeah, and sometimes I leave you there because I don't like it. I hate it.
They just be leaving me there.
Yeah, well, sometimes I wake him up and he don't get up. So, yeah. But anyways, so ways that I think that you could try to remain true to yourself is like, no is a complete sentence, and it's an okay response to something that you're not interested in doing. Like, I had to learn that I don't have to do things for other people's comfort, and that should be okay. Like, I don't have to do things that take me completely out of my comfort. I mean, obviously, comfort is a beautiful place, but nothing grows there. Like, it's nice to do new things, and I love to do new things. So it's not a matter of me trying new things. Like, I love to try new things. I love adventures. I like to go on a hike. I like to go on vacation. I like to travel. I like to try new places, like new food places. We love to travel and eat at new places. So, like, those are things that I feel like, yeah, of course, you can try those things. But, like, as far as, things that I just don't want to do, like, in the moment, like, and this is like full transparency, like, even with recording for social media, like, this is not my jam. I don't like to record for social media. Like, it's not my most favorite thing to do. He's like always like with the camera out, like he's like, oh, let me record this.
I didn't used to be that. See, this is funny, like, you know how these things play back and forth, not to cut you off, but before you met me, I wasn't even the type to take pictures. I didn't take a lot of pictures. I didn't record a lot of video. The idea really started to spawn on me with performing. Like, wow, we have some great classic poetic performances that nobody knows about because we didn't record it. So that started to fuel my energy to record more and be in front of the camera more. And she got like 20,000 pictures on her phone. Like, she was the picture video person.
Well, I take pictures, but that doesn't mean that I want them all over social media. Like,
well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, again, I'm sorry to cut you off because I want you to complete your thought.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is with that is like, oh, wow, I'm looking at it in a way where it can work to a benefit. I can get a message out because something else is identical or foundational to my thought process is influence. I want to leave a positive influence on the planet. So I got to start somewhere, and I can spread that influence faster through social media and with, the parameters and things they got set up. But that's my thing. That's what I want to be able to do. So that has me in front of the camera more now. That has me breaking out of this sense of privacy, so to speak, and kind of living more out loud. And your personality like really falls in line with that. So it's like a give and take.
Do you think my personality falls in line with like being an influencer?
Yeah, without you're a teacher.
Yeah, but
I'm
talking about like a social media influencer.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not the
it
same
really
thing.
is.
I don't think it is, man.
Look, right now, you
like
got an audience of people right now captured on this camera watching what we doing.
I know, but what I'm saying is, how is my profession related to wanting to be a social media influencer?
When you rewind this video back and listen to what you're saying, you're speaking in a professing manner. Professor, that's a teacher.
Okay, I
you're
get that.
Influencing people.
I get that, but I'm talking about like my every waking moment being recorded for the world to see. For the most part, that's like what being a social media influencer means.
Nah, not necessarily. Like, you record those things. Like, you ever say something or a thought comes to mind where it hits your spirit and like, oh wow, that was profound. In today's time, the best thing you can do is record that. Rather, if you write it down, put it on camera, or make something of it.
Okay, I guess in essence, that's a part of my personality, because for the most part, I'm not recording things, but I am writing stuff down in my journal. So I am recording, just not in the same element as.
What say? Once you write it down, it's not yours no more.
Yeah, once you write it down, it's no longer yours. It's the world's. Yeah.
So
okay, I get it. In the spiritual realm, like when you write it down, you put it into the universe. It doesn't belong to you anymore. So you influence. You're influencing energy, right?
So get out your shell, homie. That's what I'm
talking about. No, but let me get back to what I was saying.
Boom!
Let me just get back to what I was saying about remaining true to yourself, like making sure that you're not doing things for other people's comfort. Really being intentional about what you want, like what makes you happy, what makes Brianna happy. Yes, I'm a wife. Yes, I'm a mother, but who am I as an individual? Like, who is Brianna Gooden?
Can I answer that?
Go ahead.
So it's gonna fall in line with everything we talking about. When you home by yourself, you got the camera out, recording yourself being silly, doing dances and everything.
But I don't put that on social media every once in a while. Yeah.
But it's more or less for you. And if you happen to go back and zoom through the 20,000 videos and pictures you got, you might stitch something together, and then you'll put it out there. That's because possible. You like it.
I mean, but you keep on disrupting me, and I feel like I'm trying to tell the people how to remain true to themselves, and you keep on disrupting me.
I just answered your question.
And over and over and over.
I just answered your question.
There no. But see, now I lost my train of thought.
You was just talking about
remaining
true to yourself.
Yeah, obviously. Being true to yourself, and one was making sure that you're not doing things that make you completely uncomfortable for someone else's comfort, right? Another one was knowing specifically the things that make you happy, like outside of other people, outside of external forces, or what other people try to bestow upon you and all of that stuff. Like, think about like what gives me joy outside of other people, like what makes me comfortable with my own companionship, because that's so important. Like, because I feel that sometimes people only feel happy with external sources. Like, you only find joy or comfort from someone else. Like, oh, you make me happy. Yes, husband, you do make me happy. A part of what your life does for me is add happiness, but I'm already happy outside of you. Like, I'm happy outside of Ethan. Like, I'm happy outside of my obligations as a teacher. Like, you know, so yes, I feel purposeful in all of those things. They all make me feel happy and fulfilled. But what do I do when I'm alone? I light candles. I play music. I dance. I sit by the window and I read books. Like, those things make me feel happy. So when my husband goes to Florida, or if he goes to Grand Canyon, or if he goes to, I don't know, he's all over the place. If he goes to California, like wherever he goes, or wherever Ethan goes, if Ethan goes to visit his biological dad in North Carolina, or if he's just spending time with him, like, I'm okay. Like, I'm great, rather. Like, I'm okay. I'm chilling. I'm having a good time by myself. Yeah, I talk to them. I miss them. Like, I can't wait for them to come back. But also, like, I don't have to cook breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Oh.
Like,
you get a whole, you see the setup, you see the scheme, that's straight battle rap.
But also, I don't have to cook, you know, like, I don't have to be like a certain way. I can just sit here and just do the things that I love to do uninterrupted, like talking on the phone with my friends, like shoot the shits with my friends, like, you know, like
walk around the house in your birthday suit.
I definitely don't do that. I don't do that. No, I definitely don't do that. I don't know, maybe I should try that. I should add that to the list of things that Brianna loves. But what do you think are some things
please.
What is some things that you love that you do outside of me?
I like to take walks. I like to take long walks by myself. You know, that's a way of me connecting with nature. That's a way of me hitting the reset button. That's a way to like clear my thoughts. You know, I just watched a video yesterday that reminded me about emotion. You know, breaking down emotion. It's electric motion. Sometimes, you know, you got a lot of energy like pent up inside and you need to release it and get it out. So that's one way for me to get that out and transform it and turn it into something creative, something that can be influential to someone outside of myself. You know, my whole goal with those things is to be able to touch others. If it hit me in such a way, I feel like it can be of service to somebody else as well. So that's two things that I absolutely, you know, love to do, and that's just like, you know, a part of my personality. Yeah, I still love to stay up late night and catch up with stuff on sports or watch thought-provoking videos, or I'm an information head, you know, I'm a conduit for information. So anything where I can consume different levels of information like that, that's something that I love doing personally. And ever so often, that'll matriculate into a conversation with you out of excitement, like, oh wow, let me tell you something, you know, that I just figured out today. Or I'm notorious for saying, look, I just figured this out. I say that all the time. You know? So yeah, just having that room and ability and space to think uninterruptedly. I love, you know, uninterrupted time to myself, you know, to get all this information together, to let the dots connect and the chips fall as they may, so I can create something with it. But, yeah, those are like the easily identifiable things.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that like brings some intrinsic peace to you, and then that way when you come into a relationship, because last night I was just showing you a video of this woman who was saying that she felt like she didn't have anything to offer a man because of all of the things that she's dealing with internally, right? But like, I feel like understanding foundationally who you are, like what brings you joy, what brings you peace, allows you to bring peace into a space for someone else. Like, because I already found like all of the things that I love to do, like these are the things I like to do by myself. Now, how can I bring that peace into our space together, right? Like that joy and peace that I feel from me time into our us time. So like, do you think that, I don't know, because I think that there's a sort of a difference. I'm not sure because I'm not a man, so I can't really speak for men. But as far as women goes, and I've heard lots of women say this over the course of my life through their own experiences, that women become so consumed in relationships that they kind of lose themselves and they kind of like put on all of these different hats to be the woman of the house. Like, I have to be sexual when you want me to be sexual. Like, I have to make sure that the house is clean. I have to make sure that if you have children, that the kids are fed, that my husband is fed, that like, and then you wear so many different hats, like this wife hat, this mother's hat, this maid hat, this sexual being hat, right? Like, no, seriously. Yeah. So like, you wear all of these hats that is so hard to hold on to the things that don't involve all of those pieces of life that's kind of necessary. Like, obviously we're not living in the 50s where those are women's roles specifically, because obviously, like, I still go to work, I still do a bunch of other things, and you do things too, like you help clean up. You don't cook, but you help clean up for sure.
That's it. That's the one. I just don't cook. That's it.
Like, yeah, that's it. That's the only thing. And it's not because, I don't think it's because you don't want to, or you just really can't cook.
Nah, see, like, come on. Don't even do that. Like, the time I cooked for the whole candlelight dinner, you ended up making that same thing.
That one recipe.
I actually cook a little.
So then that means you should be cooking.
No,
you see?
It's not in my routine.
You that dig yourself in the ditch. No, but like making sure that like you're continuing to do the things that, for women in particular, because I see like a lot of women talking about like, man, I'm just a mom, like I'm just this, I'm just that, and it's just like you're more than that, and you have to make room for yourself. And I know that it's hard, especially if you're a single mom. Like that is one thing that is like extremely difficult when you're a single mom and you don't have help. But like there are times where when Ethan is home, there are times when like I go to the nail salon and he stays with you, like, you know, like things that I'm able to do. Like I appreciate you so much for being normal, like, because I don't want to make it seem like it's like something that's like beyond amazing to have that, because it should be natural. It should be natural for a man to stay home with the children while the woman goes and do things to take care of herself, like to do what she wants to do to enjoy herself. Because I feel like men sometimes, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or if this is getting lost in translation, like men have the luxury of going to do things that they want to do, right? Like often.
Right.
So, sorry, go ahead.
Well, now, like, kind of pulling in what we was talking about last night, if I can draw off that same response that I had, I think for, far too long, we got into a paradox or a paradigm, I like to use those terminologies, in this society where these are women's roles, these are men's roles, this is what a woman's supposed to do, this is what a man's supposed to do. And it's all revolving around like an unequal amount of servitude, if you will. So my perspective on that is like, it's amazing what happens when you got two people in the household that feel as if they're experiencing the same level of freedom. And I'm saying that because you should be able to go do what you need to do and not have to worry about what's going on in the household and things like that. And from getting back to my point about what society has told us for far too long is that this is what a woman and what her role is and what she's supposed to do in terms of, to your point, being a housewife, being a mom, being the one that cooks, being the one that takes care and does all these responsibilities, that like that's your sole role. Not that it's a bad thing, because that's high levels of responsibility, but what we find in today's time, that's been categorized as being more modern, is that a lot of people are drawing from tradition and adding a modern twist to it. And I don't see anything wrong. I actually love that, because when I'll go back into antiquity and see how they treated women back then, and they were treated in the highest regard. They made monuments and statues for women. They made isolated every thought process, every physical part, and put it on a pedestal for women. So that gives you a high value with how they thought about women. Now, bring that into 2021 in today's world. Why can't you have that? Why can't you edify a woman, in the highest regard? Create a place of peace for her where she can turn a house into a home, where you bring food into a house and she has the liberty and freedom to turn it into a meal.
If she wants to.
If she wants to.
Right.
If she wants to. Without feeling, she just has the ability to be feminine. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of drawing up that conversation we was talking about last night, where the lady was doing everything by herself. When you got to juggle both energies alone, this is not just women, this is man and woman. It's an imbalance there. It turns you into something that by nature we were not supposed to live life alone. Bottom line, life is too large for you to try to do it all by yourself. Trust me, it'll stress you out trying to balance both of those energies by yourself, but we deal with the cards that we dealt with, and this is what we come to. And I think coming into this time of information, it's giving people the opportunity to kind of, just pick and choose. I love the grocery store theory. Yo, take what you need and leave the rest on the shelf. Like, let that define and rebuild a lifestyle that we're not used to seeing on TV, or we're not used to seeing people talk about, or we're not used to even our grandparents expressing or showing us something else. We're supposed to take what was in the past, bring it into the future, and develop on it. What's going to make your life better? They do it with technology all the time. You don't got to turn a TV no more. You use a remote. It's not designed to make you lazy. It's just designed to help you get to your point quicker. So to influence life and just make things like easier for you.
Yeah.
Or simpler. I don't like the word easy so much, but that answer the question?
Yeah, that answers the question. And I guess what I was really thinking about when I heard you saying about roles being different and women having a feminine energy, because I like to talk about that, and I know this is not what our episode is about, but I want to talk about that a little bit, because when we talk about those energies meeting and how it makes a space like so much more peaceful, and we talked about this on your birthday when we were going up to Basketball Hall of Fame, and we were talking about leadership, because I feel like there's such a negative connotation on leadership and submission and all of those things, because with submission in particular, like, we hear that word and we think like there's a dominant and you think that there's a hierarchy, and I think through our experience, I don't feel like that. Like, I don't, and I think it's because we both choose to submit to one another. Like, it's not like I'm submitting to you only, or you're submitting to me only, and I'm the dominant in a relationship. Like, it never feels that way. Like, it never feels like the divine masculine energy has some sort of power over my divine feminine energy. And because of that, I feel like we both can move in those energies fluently. Like, because like when I was telling you that I feel like in so many ways you lead our relationship, it is not like how people view it. Like, like I said, people will view it as a negative thing. Like, oh, what do you mean? Women could lead themselves and blah, blah, blah. 100% understand that, got that, boom, right? But how I explained it to you and how it really is that the things that you do holds me accountable. So leadership, I equate to accountability, right? So like, if you are making sure that you are remaining healthy, right, with the food that you put inside your body, with working out, with the information that you put into your mind, right? Because if I'm not matching that, then I can't even meet you on those types of conversations that you want to have, right? Or if I'm not matching that, if I'm not matching your health level, if I'm the one that's cooking, ain't nobody matching nobody health level. But I'm just saying, like, the things that you do and the things that you continue to hold yourself accountable to, it makes me look at myself. Because in the beginning of our relationship, I said that I'm a reflection of you, right? And we say that and we say it loosely, but that's a very true statement. Like, I feel like the things that you do, I want to do, not things like we were talking about, things that we love, because there's differences there, but like foundationally and who you are as a man and how you want to grow as a man, it makes me want to step into that even more. So like in the morning time, you're having a smoothie, right? A green shake or something. Then I'm like, dang, in the morning time, I want a green shake. I see you moving and shaking with the shake, right? Like, no, seriously though. Like, it sounds funny, but it's like, I see you moving and shaking. I see your energy picking up. Yeah, I want to have that too, and vice versa, right? Or if you start slacking on going to the gym, but every time you come home, you see me getting it in, doing push-ups, doing this, doing that. You like, dang, I need to step my game up. I need to step my cookies up and get back in the gym, right? Or like, if I'm reading every day, right? And you're like, man, I remember I used to read every day. I want to read every day. So it's like, that's what I mean by leadership, like that accountability by doing, right? By leading, and we say this like, that parents should lead by example, and that people should lead by, like anybody in a leadership position should lead by example, so people could follow, right? So people could do the things that they're doing. So when you're doing things that are right, that's going to make our lives better, right? Then I want to do that. So it's a reflection, it's like accountability more or less than that word leadership that has a negative connotation, right?
Right.
So
So that's like, within that definition, there's a lot of submission going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just based on you leading yourself. Kind of to add to what you were saying about submission, I know her love languages. You know, I've been studying them for a while, studying to the point where I actively give that or feed into it on a regular basis. Where I think we was talking about this, I don't know, not too long ago, where her tank is never not full. You know, it's either past the F or at the F.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's kind of how I identify with it. So that's something I submit to on a regular basis, because it's real easy to just do what I want to do and what I love, you know, and kind of like fall into that thought process. But I think it's not even difficult anymore. In the beginning, like, you know, just to kind of speak to people and how you get into that process, it can be difficult in the beginning because it almost feels foreign to submit to what someone else loves and what they want to do, because it's not your primary thing that you do. Like, I personally, like, physical touch is my thing. You know, conversation. I could talk about an intellectual conversation and debate all day long.
That's not my jam.
She don't want to do that all day.
I don't want to debate.
Right. But you'll engage in intellectual
Yeah,
conversation.
definitely.
She really don't want to debate.
I don't like to debate.
But yeah. And prior to, like, you know, like the way she wanted to spend quality time, it wasn't my thing. I'm one of them people, I forget to brush my teeth in the morning. I'll get up and I'll start creating. That was me on an everyday basis. That's still me. But hold on, let me slow down. Let me see what's going on with her. Let me, you know, and it's not even something that I think about doing. I'm just describing it to you. It's like a part of my routine now. And now I'm at a point where I'm thinking of different ways to, like, throw some sugar or some spice in there. Like, oh wow, this is something that might make her smile extra hard today. I don't think about it. It's just a thought. And she'll hit me back
You don't
with
think about it? It's just a thought.
You know what I mean. It comes to me naturally. It comes to me naturally. You know what I mean.
All right, I get it.
But now, maybe I think it was 2 weeks ago. I would just bring you flowers to. That was about a month ago now. Huh?
Yeah, my job.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a minute ago.
And yeah, it was just like, you know, a thought that entered my head, and I acted on it. You know, I used to have these thoughts prior to, but it wasn't something that I just always acted on. But now, you know, that's a part of her love language that lets her know, hey, he's really thinking of. And yeah, again, I'm just describing it to you guys, but now it's just a part of my routine. But yeah, that's submission in a nutshell. You know, you wake up and when the thought hits you to show love to that person the way they want to be loved, just do it. Yeah.
That's true. Intent versus action, right? Because sometimes you have it in your head and that don't work. Because I'm not a mind reader, so I can't be like, oh, I know he was thinking about me. No, but I'm like, I can't be like, I know he was thinking about me for 3 months, but he never showed me in no way that he was thinking about me, right? Like, I'm not a mind reader. I don't know if you can read minds. I certainly cannot. So like, yes, you might have the intention of doing something, but putting it into action lets people know that they're valued by you. But to get back to our remaining true to yourself theme here, so what do you think are ways that a man can remain true to themselves in a relationship? Because I talked about already women having all of these roles and how they could, like, kind of put that to the side or try to make time for themselves to feel valued by themselves, because sometimes we're not taught that. How do you think men, what advice can you give a man who feels like he is so invested into another person that he's lost himself?
I mean, what made you happy before you met that person? That's the one thing that I can and would say. Like, what always made me happy prior to meeting you was like just being outside, talking to myself or creating something, putting a design together, writing a new poem to perform, or that, like, downtime with like all the things I mentioned with watching TV and videos. Like, what's some things that made you happy? That's not going to be a detriment to your relationship before you met the person that you was with. And that's something you discuss with your partner. Like, hey, I want to take, or I'm going to start carving out this time for me so I don't lose who I am. Yeah.
But do you think that there's anything in our relationship that you've had to compromise or, like, lessen so that our relationship could flow better? Like, you mentioned earlier about coming to the house at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's what I was getting back to.
Yeah.
I mean, just that. Like, before, me and my boys, we would hang out. Just be out. And we wouldn't really even be outside or nothing like that. We'd just be in each other's company, and we'd be doing some similar things to what we do here. We'd be talking about all kind of different pieces of information and conversation, but the time would just fly by, and before you know it, yeah, it's easily 5, 6 in the morning. But if that's not something that your partner is comfortable with, and there's specific reasons behind that, I didn't see a real issue with compromising that. I just found those times to do those same things, but kind of lessen the distance. Like when me and my man Ant talk, we'll go to the gym or something, or we'll take a walk and talk for a little while, and it'll be a 2-3 hour conversation, and I'll come back and tell her like, yeah, I was with Ant for a couple hours. So at the latest, it's not till 5, 6 a.m. Sometimes it might be 12 or 1. And, you know, I'm pretty sure she would prefer it be within the same day, but the sun ain't beat me home. That was something that she used to say.
Yeah, don't let the sun beat you home.
Because when stuff like that starts to happen, and she starts to get like doubts in her mind, lack of trust, you can be not doing anything. Like we don't do anything. We just talk. But those are pieces that just adds to you having to converse with that versus, yeah, she just feels comfortable if I'm in the house a little bit later. And on top of that, it lessens the time, and it's like, okay, I still got other things I need to do with my time anyway. But yeah, it doesn't even have to be something like that. But if it's something that you were doing that you love to do prior to meeting your partner, discuss it with that person, let them know how you feel about it, and you just got to be open and honest with each other about it, and you figure out the best way for that formula to work.
So I want to wrap this up because I feel like we've been ranting and raving about staying true to yourself, because sometimes you go along to get along, and through that it breeds resentment. Oof, that word, resentment, and it kind of just ruins the relationship. Like, it creates a mess in a relationship that nobody could foresee coming, because sometimes resentment like to creep up on you, and then you start catching attitudes and you don't know why you got an attitude, and it's just a hot mess. Like, so yeah, definitely remember to try to remain true to who you are, or if you don't know who that is right now, try to work through finding out what it is, like what makes you happy outside of your relationship. And I know that there's lots of things like insecurities, like sometimes you're in a relationship with somebody who's like extremely insecure, so doing things by yourself is not favorable, but just try to like find a healthy balance. And this Libra man, he knows all about balance, so like try to find like a healthy balance in how your relationship could be the best for you, because every relationship is different. There's so many different types of love, like that there's no cookie cutter way for you to do it how it's gonna allow your relationship to be the most successful.
Right.
So,
you know, normally the thing is, right, just kind of to add on to that, when you meet somebody, they say opposites attract, right? You got opposites that attract that you don't even know about, but you spend time trying to discover them. Using that same example, hanging out till 6 o'clock in the morning really don't make sense. We just talking. We're not doing nothing wrong, but we're not doing anything necessarily that's productive at that time. You know, the conversations are productive because it's like building blocks. We build them, but it's still a time and space for that. Like, we don't need to go around that same block till 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
So with the opposites attract, if you're looking at it from a spiritual level, maybe that's something that you should or need to compromise on, that's going to help you get to the next level.
Right.
Because you mentioned one of our favorite quotes earlier, comfort is a beautiful thing,
but nothing grows there. Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you might be comfortable doing that, and you might be uncomfortable submitting to somebody asking you to come home in a reasonable hour, but then it works out. You know, it's not something that's stripping away from who you are per se. Or just rethink your approach to it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh yes, I love that. Rethink your approach. That's my jam. So so thank you for watching our video. We're gonna be back with some more fun episodes. So stay tuned.
Well, everything gotta be fun though. Why can't
I like fun. I love fun. So this is more of a serious conversation, but I love fun. Fun is my jam.